With the Euros only a week away, I have updated my current Euro fantasy draft and I'm going to reveal exactly what it is looking like alongside the players I think are essential in your matchday one squads. As always, make sure to drop a like on this video, and if you want to follow all the best Euro fantasy content, make sure you do smash that subscribe button. Enough waffling, let's get into today's video. Now, quick reminder, if you haven't already, make sure you join the FPL Fan Mini League. The code is above me here, just under 1,000 managers right now. It'd be great to have as many of you guys as possible to see if you could beat me this season. So, kicking things off with the goalkeepers. And I can't lie, there aren't many goalkeepers right now that are really locking themselves in the team. I have flipped between a lot of different options, but right now I'm leaning towards this combination. So currently I've got Belgium's goalkeeper, Sels. Now, of course, Courtois hasn't been included in the Euro team for Belgium. He's just won the Champions League, but hasn't been included in the squad, which is a real surprise coming back from that big injury. But it has opened the door for potentially a great value goalkeeper. Now, at 4 million, Sels is a brilliant option, regardless of what you think of the Belgian defence and the group. I don't really expect tons of clean sheets from Belgium. I think it's a great opportunity to save some cash in this squad. The problem, Casteels, the other goalkeeper, could easily take the #1 shirt. He was the goalkeeper in the Euro qualifying, but we've seen Sels step up in the recent friendlies. The good news, we are going to have 2 friendlies before the Euros, and basically I think that will confirm whether Sels is the #1 goalkeeper. But speaking to some Belgian fans, there is a little bit of a worry that Casteels will come back in between the sticks, so we do need to monitor that situation. If it is the case, then unfortunately the 4 million dream of Sels will be gone. We will have to upgrade him potentially to a 4.5 million goalkeeper. But we have got Portugal's goalkeeper in Costa. Now, I'm really not that impressed with Portugal's defence in general. They haven't been keeping a lot of clean sheets during the qualifiers or in friendlies necessarily. In their most recent result, they did lose 2-0 to Slovenia, so it's not the most convincing defence to invest in. However, I like the group. Just to read through their group games: Czech Republic, followed by Turkey, followed by Georgia in match day 3. Of course, we will be using our chips during these match days, so we might not even have Costa come that really favourable game against Georgia. However, I think Costa is a good pick in that Portugal defence if you don't want to be spending the 6 million on someone like a Cancelo. So right now, I'm leaning towards these 2 goalkeepers, but in particular, Sels could easily come out that team if he isn't starting in the upcoming friendly. Moving into defenders, and there are definitely a few that have stuck around since my first draft, and I just don't really see myself going without them unless they don't appear in their respective national teams. First up, Theo Hernandez. I've seen a few people move away from the France defence, looking at their recent friendly results, obviously losing against Germany. A few people have been a little bit scared to go for their defenders, but I think Theo Hernandez, similar to FPL, is one of those players that offers both clean sheet potential and attacking returns, and that's exactly what you want from your defenders. Yes, it is good to get some of those centre-backs who are guaranteed minutes, but Theo Hernandez for me offers every single thing that you want from a fantasy option. So he is going to be in my team, but of course we do have the friendlies to monitor the situation, see if France maybe look a little bit susceptible, but I'm expecting good things for France and a bit of a solid performance in these group stages. Now, another one that has been in my team since day one is going to be Mittelstadt, and this one is very much up for debate. Started the last 2 friendlies. He is a dream at 4 million. If he does start in the upcoming friendlies with Germany, there is one today, which is good news, that at 4 million, this guy is locked into every single team, and he will just be basically a mainstay in everyone's. So Mittelstadt is a brilliant option, but we really do need to monitor those friendlies. And of course, I will update you as soon as we see anything from Germany. But playing left back, offering a little bit of attacking potential, obviously scoring in a recent friendly for them, I really do pray that he is going to be in that Germany starting 11 come match day 1. The other one that I really like is DiMarco at Italy, playing at left back, an offensive fullback, and the first game being against Albania is a brilliant option for your teams. I don't really think you can go without DiMarco. I would put him in almost that essential category because if you want him long term, I get it. Then there is a few problems because the group is really tricky, but that first game is brilliant for Italy. And secondly, if you're on a chip strategy of maybe wildcard in a match day 2 and limit less than 3, I don't think you can go without DiMarco in your team. So I am all aboard DiMarco with those attacking potentials he offers in that Italy team. The last 2, I can't lie, are completely up for grabs. Currently got Wout Face, so I'm going for a Belgium double up, which just feels ridiculous looking at their defence in general. But he is 4 million. I think he will start for them, and he's currently just that enabler that allows me to get the better players in offensive areas. But that one is definitely not locked in right now. But I haven't seen many other 4 millions that I'm really interested by. I'm just hoping maybe Belgium do turn up in this tournament and put in a solid performance, and maybe Wout Face gets a goal from a set piece, but I am probably stretching there. And the other one, I can't believe he's in the team right now, is going to be John Stones. Now, it's worth noting, I prefer Harry Maguire, but I need to see a little bit from him in friendlies. He hasn't played football for a while now, didn't feature in the FA Cup final. I have no actual guarantees that he is fully fit going into this tournament. So the only one I really trust is John Stones at 5 million. Now, of course, we could change his team a little bit, put Pickford in between the sticks, get myself a different defender. But right now, I don't mind John Stones, but of course, not really offering much from an offensive perspective isn't the most exciting pick. But I always back the England defence, even though they are looking pretty woeful right now with the injuries and of course the game time for their respective teams. But I do want a piece of that England defence, and right now I am leaning towards John Stones, but that one feels very much up for grabs in this team. Next up, the midfielders. One player that has been in my team every single draft is going to be Bruno Fernandes. Now, I've been looking at different ways of going for the Portugal strategy, going for Ronaldo, going for Rafael Leao, but all things come back to Bruno Fernandes. Guaranteed game time. His influence in the team is brilliant. He's a goal scorer. He also creates chances in this Portugal team. For me, Bruno Fernandes at 9 million is the best Portugal option. Might be a bit controversial because, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo. But for me, I just know Bruno Fernandes is going to play every game, every minute. And depends on your chip strategy. But Portugal's fixtures are good in the group stage, and Portugal score goals. So for me, you want a piece of that attack. And Bruno Fernandes, for me, is just going to be that choice. I'm not really budging from that position. Another player that I do like is going to be Turkey's Çalhanoğlu. Now, I can never pronounce it. I probably have butchered it once again, and I probably just leave him in here for a bit of comedy value for you guys. So please do let me know in the comment section how badly I just butchered that name. So we're going to call him Hakim for now, obviously his first name. Look, great season for Inter Milan. On penalties for Turkey. Do I expect Turkey to really step up this tournament? Probably not. But the fact that he's on penalties, he is the talisman in that team. Now, of course, Arda Güler at Real Madrid is the exciting young prospect that we could go for in that Turkey team. But I haven't really seen a lot of him in this Turkish team in terms of minutes. Started a game, but there's no guarantees he is actually going to really integrate with this side in the Euros. Can check out a little bit of the friendlies, but for me, if we want guaranteed game time and talismanic influence, then it has to be Hakim at 6.5 million. Talking about talismans, Szoboszlai is that man. I've spoken about him in previous videos. Not the best FPL option last year, but in this Hungary team, he is everything for them. On set pieces, he is the driving force, and if Hungary are going to do anything this tournament, you can guarantee Szoboszlai is going to be at the heart of it. I wouldn't say he's a goal scorer, like he's not going to bag you like tons of goals, but I just think he ticks a lot of the boxes at 7 million. And again, a great enabler for our teams, offers a bit of everything, a real powerhouse in that midfield. He could pick up a point for balls recovered and also pick up points for goals. So I think he is just a great pick for Szoboszlai at 7 million. Now, the other two spots have really been rotating, but I'm currently leaning towards Bukayo Saka in England. I think Bellingham, Foden are great, but while we have this little bit of uncertainty, who's going to play in 10, who's going to play left wing, I just want to go for the player that has actually really stepped up in tournaments, and that is going to be Bukayo Saka. A brilliant season for Arsenal. I don't see him getting displaced on the right-hand side of that front three. I think he's definitely a Southgate man. I know he's carrying an injury at the back end of the season, but I don't think he's been classed as ruled out. I've seen him in training, so I'm hoping I see some good things in the friendly. And I just know Saka is one of the Southgate's go-to men in the group stages of previous tournaments. So I think Saka is actually being massively overlooked right now, and I would happily go for him over the likes of Foden and Bellingham at the time of recording. And also, I think with England right now, the group is fairly decent. And even though we can't really have any guarantees about them defensively, I think we all feel confident from an attacking perspective. They offer good value this season. Last up's going to be Rodri. Now, I know, in terms of FPL, we all think Rodri was a bad pick. But I'll remind you, he scored 8 goals, 10 assists last year. Probably one of the most underlooked seasons I've ever seen. He was incredible. And for Spain, he's the penalty taker, which is really, really big. And as I mentioned, in terms of the Euros, defensive mids actually get rewarded for a point for 3 ball recoveries. So I think Rodri is a great pick in this Spain team. Yes, the group's a little bit mixed, but Rodri guaranteed game time on penalties, and he has proven to be a goal scorer at times. I think Rodri is a great enabler for your teams, but different directions you could go. You could go for McTominay at Scotland. I know that's not the best choice, but scored 7 goals in the group stages. He could easily be McTominay in this team. Also someone like a Jorginho in Italy's team. Obviously a great first fixture, potentially on penalties, and of course he is getting that ball recovery point as well potentially. So I do like that, but that's going to be my midfield right now. But it is worth noting a couple of those could be up for debate. And finally, the forwards, and I can't lie, it is a little bit boring. I do apologise, but I think it takes a very brave manager to look away from some of these choices. So Harry Kane, just a perfect example of the all-round package. Historically, has delivered in these big tournaments on penalties, guaranteed game time, playing for one of the top teams in the tournament. I just can't really look past Harry Kane. You might have your biases, but for me, Harry Kane is the #1 England pick, and I think it would take a very brave manager to go against him. So Harry Kane is just locked into this draft unless we see anything terrible in the upcoming friendlies, and even then, it would require an injury for me not to put him in the team. And again, Mbappe is going to have the exact same premise. On penalties, he has every single attribute that Harry Kane does, and I'd even argue Mbappe probably has more of an explosive side to him. Like, I could see him bagging maybe a hat-trick. Now, there's a few talks that maybe Mbappe might struggle in this tournament with what we've seen for PSG with those low blocks in the Champions League. He might struggle to open up teams, but I just can't look past Mbappe right now. He is just the talisman in this France team, and you know he's going to get guaranteed game time. And similar to Harry Kane, it would really take a brave manager to swing against Kylian Mbappe. He's got that move to Real as well. He is going to be on cloud 9, and France, rightfully so, are one of the favourites for the tournament. So I don't think we need to talk too much about Mbappe, because the third forward spot is definitely where it's up for grabs. Now, as you can see, I've got 0.5 million in the bank, but it doesn't really change what direction I could take Havertz. Now, in terms of players at a similar price, Dovbyk at Ukraine is really catching my eye. I think he's a brilliant pick. Yes, Ukraine aren't necessarily going to progress miles into the tournament, but if they are going to do well, Dovbyk is definitely one of those players that needs to step up for them. So I really do like him. Top goal scorer in La Liga, and he is a similar price to Kai Havertz. My problem, I have no other coverage in this Germany attack, and with their first game against Scotland, a decent group, and being the host nation, I don't really feel that confident going without a Germany attacker. Now, of course, I could adapt the draft, maybe go for a Fabian Wirtz or maybe a Gundogan, but I think Kai Havertz playing as a forward is just the way to go in this Germany team. Now, if I could free up a bit of cash, I really do like Romelu Lukaku, and if I could get to Cristiano Ronaldo, I think that's a great pick as well. But I think Kai Havertz at 7.5 million is just a really, really shrewd investment to get yourself a piece of that attack for Germany in a Nagelsmann team who has definitely turned a corner, and I think he is probably one of the best managers in this competition from attacking football perspective. So that is going to be the current draft. Let me show you how it looks in terms of a setup, because of course subs are really important in Euro Fantasy. So with that squad, here is how the starting 11 would look. And remember, Euro Fantasy is very different to FPL. Whereas in FPL, you pick your 11 and that is your team. The only way the subs come in is if one of your starting 11 doesn't play a single minute. Your team is really important in Euro Fantasy to select the right 11. And it needs to be dependent on when they play their fixtures. So for example, as you can see here, I have Kai Havertz with the captaincy and starting in the team. That is because they are the host nation and they play the first day of match day 1, which is on the 14th of June. If you don't put the captaincy on Havertz and he does really well, you can't then put the captaincy on him once the player's played. That is it. So the players that you can see on my bench play later on in match day 1. For example, Costa, Fernandez and Calhoun play on the 18th of June. I know I've just butchered his name once again. Whereas players in the front line here, Kane plays on the 16th, Mbappe on the 17th, and Havertz on the 14th of June. So, for example, with this team, I'd put the captaincy on Havertz on the 14th of June. On the 15th, I'd have a choice to maybe put it on Rodri or maybe a DeMarco. And then on the 16th of June, I would put the captaincy on Harry Kane if the likes of Havertz or Rodri haven't delivered in their respective games. Knowing that I have someone like an Mbappe or a Fernandez that could also have the captaincy in the last 2 games of match day 1. And again, if somebody in my starting 11 doesn't deliver, we've got these players on the bench who play on the final day of match day 1 who can easily auto sub in. And I can almost guarantee someone like a Bruno Fernandes will definitely come into this team just because I fancy him delivering in that game against Czech Republic. But that's how the draft's currently looking, and I feel like I'm always coming back to this sort of structure. There's only a few places that are really up for grabs, like the goalkeepers, the third forward potentially, and those 1 or 2 defensive spots. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll be really interested to know what your current draft is looking like, and if you have any questions. Yes, guys, okay, that is a wrap to today's video. I really hope it provided some value, and as I've said, I'm getting very close to what my first draft will be confirmed. We do have the friendlies coming up in the upcoming days. I will be covering them off in future videos, so as I said, make sure you do drop a like on the video and smash the subscribe button. We are going to be doing daily videos between now and that first game of match day 1, so it'd be great to have you on board for this journey. Can't wait to play it this season. If you have any questions, put them in the comments section, and of course make sure you do join the mini league, and I'll catch you very soon. Have a great day. Cheers.